Oh, and my cam's dead. Awesome, bro. Why is my cam dead? What is happening in my life, man? Holy shit. Holy shit.
It wouldn't be one of our shows if everything didn't go wrong 5 minutes before we started.
Dude, it's insane. The reason we're so late is because I've come across some audio issues, and now I'm coming across apparently webcam issues as well. So this is pretty fucking awesome.
What a fucking triumph. We're the masters of this, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive if you ask me. It's pretty impressive.
I'm impressed with us.
Hello,
Vampy.
Hi, Vampy. Oh yeah, now I'm super lit too. All right, let's show off that Casper-like skin. I love it. It's great.
Woo.
Fucking sun bouncing off of this noggin. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. All right. Welcome on in, everybody.
I'll say, look at how pretty you are with your Snow White complexion.
Listen, it's hard to have my tone, you know? It takes years of dedication and not a lot of sunlight. That's the way that it works out. So I've made some changes around here. I've done some things to Vox's audio since his voice is better than mine anyway. And hopefully we'll be able to balance out my shit tier audio with his godlike thunderous voicey ass. So
from my dad. My dad's like the total opposite of me. Like, you listen to me talk for about 5 minutes, you can tell you know what my voice sounds like. It's very metered and kind of mellow and all that. You hear my dad talk and he talks like this, and it's just really loud all the time, like he's always yelling, and it is. I remember I was like 13 and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, that is so loud. I'm never doing that.
See, I talk exactly like my old man. Like, my voice is 100% like spot on my dad. Like, my fiance regularly is like, you sound so much like your old man. Like, it makes her uncomfortable how much alike we sound. And it used to be like whenever his buddies would call and like, they'd be like, hey man, what's going on? And I would have like 10-minute conversations with them. They're like, so did you go to work today? I'm like, dude, this is Derek, by the way. Like, it is not my old man.
Dude, there are times when I notice that I sound exactly like my dad too.
So
a few occasions.
Here, I'm gonna pull up.
What's on the docket today?
Yeah, the docket today. So we're gonna talk about Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, which it's not gonna take us very long at all.
Really not.
We're gonna talk a little bit about.
You guys might think.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about Vox's DayZ hard-on, and then
a couple years.
Then we're gonna talk about my hard-on, which is Resident Evil Village. So yeah,
lifetime.
Yeah, I finally did it. Forget Viagra. Fucking bring on the RE Village.
Bring on the Heisenberg fight. Yeah! That's when you just hear the subtle.
Yeah, the desk starts to lift. It's like a knock at the door real quick. So let's see here. I want to make sure that our audio is not completely janked up. So let me try that real quick.
How is everybody in chat doing? Gondor calls for aid. Poor Clouded's audio is calling for aid right now. I swear. What the fuck am I even looking for?
All right, it actually sounds like it's pretty well balanced. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I definitely did not expect to come in here and not have to fuck with the sliders, but it definitely sounds like it's pretty decent right now.
Beautiful. I want to know why the fuck I was going to set a timer.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're even going to need one, honestly, for Without Remorse.
Yeah, well, probably not. To be quite honest.
I click world clock on my phone, and I have New York, which, fine, whatever. I mean, we're in that time zone.
Yep.
But then I have Cupertino. Mm-hmm. Where the fuck is Cupertino? I've never heard of that.
That's where the Apple headquarters is, dude. So that's why it's included. That you have an iPhone, you automatically have Cupertino as one of your time zones.
Oh, Cupertino.
Yep. That's an iPhone feature, one of their best, actually. That's what they tout at their events.
Is that what I'm giving them $1,100 for?
Yeah, yeah. So I can know what time it is. So I can know what time it is over there where they like to fuck me with their technology. That's how that's how it works.
Beautiful. Yes, Vampy, I'm good. So I was excited for Without Remorse purely for the fact that it had Tom Clancy's name attached to it.
Yeah, that's like your boy.
That's my boy. I love pretty much anything with his name on it when it comes to like video games, movies, stuff like that. Not so much the books because I can't read, but things I can actually interact with. And to the movie's credit, it does a lot of Tom Clancy stuff. Like the opening scene. The opening scene is something I would expect to see in like Ghost Recon or Rainbow Six. Doesn't matter which Rainbow Six, fucking any of them. They're all, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, so like, them rolling in, like popping out a couple shots from underwater. Yeah, dude, you felt like it started off with a pretty good bang. You're like, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It started off it had a very strong start with that scene. That part of that scene.
Yep.
Sparrow wants to know what the binary letters say on your tattoo.
Yeah, I saw that. So it
says weeb.
No, it says LOSER. So it says loser. My tattoo says loser. And anytime anybody asks me why my tattoo spells out loser, I say because I'm an asshole with a binary tattoo on my arm that says loser. And then that usually comes full circle. And then we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I always wanted, because like, obviously I consider myself a loser. Like the self-loathing is there. So it was always like the Beck song, like I'm a loser baby. So I was like, I can't. Yeah. So like I wanted to get like I'm a loser baby tattooed on my arm, but I'm like, I don't really fuck with Beck that much. So I was like, maybe I can do like the Su un Perdedor. And I was like, well, I also don't speak Spanish. So how can I call myself a loser without looking like a Beck superfan that's really into a different language? And this happened because I'm an IT nerd. So yeah, here we are.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yes. Without Remorse is the one with Michael B. Jordan in it.
Yep.
So the movie opens up with his team infiltrating what turns out to be a Russian weapons depot.
Yeah, yep, the Russian arms depot.
Except it's not officially connected to Russia.
Yeah, so like the concept is that they have like an agent that they're going in to rescue. Like there's a prisoner of war they're going in to rescue, and like the CIA is involved, and the CIA debriefs them, and they roll in not knowing that it's a Russian arms depot. They just assume that they're following this mission. They've been briefed completely. And like midway through, they're like, "Oh fuck! Like what are they doing here? Why are we here?"
Yeah. Like you have a CIA-led mission with a spec ops team, and I don't know if that would actually happen. I mean, I imagine it's probably had to have happened.
I'm sure there's collaboration between the two departments. Yeah. I'm guessing.
There's one thing I learned from this movie. Nobody likes the CIA.
No, the CIA is definitely the shitheel of the agencies. Like everybody side eyes the CIA. Like fuck those guys, man. Punk asses. The root of all evil.
Apparently. Yeah, my notes I'll be honest with you guys, I could actually send my notes in full to Clouded without hitting the Discord limit or probably even coming close because Without Remorse isn't a bad movie, but it's not a great movie either. It is painfully average.
Yeah. So the entire feeling that I had the whole way through the movie is like you keep waiting for something to happen. Like you're just like after like within like there's like 10 minutes left in the movie and I'm like I really hope that like this movie's got a lot left to it because I feel like nothing really has happened so far. Like I feel like we're just getting started and then it turns out like no, you're not just getting started. We're done. Like
this is the peak.
Yeah. Mel, thanks for the host, buddy.
Yeah, there was like I don't even want to like I wouldn't say I was bored. I was I was invested enough to pay attention to it for the most part. Like, I
Mhm.
don't even want to read through my notes because they're so fucking boring.
Yeah, like, and it was really hard. Like, I tried to Vox my way through this one. I was like, I'm gonna take fucking notes. Film school, here I come, baby. Roger and Ebert gets 2 thumbs down. Clouded Rage is the new critic. Like, that's what I was going into this movie with. And I was like watching. I was like, this fucking sucks, bro. Like, I'm pretty bored. Like, there's a lot of shit that does happen. It's pretty actiony, but like. They spend
action scenes like
they spend a lot of time like hyping up to nothing. Like I felt like
yeah.
like their big climax of the movie was like, all right, it's just the 4th dude that like broke into my house and tried to kill me, and like that was the big fight scene.
Weird.
It didn't make any sense to me.
It wasn't even a good fight scene.
No, it's just them hunkered down by 4 snipers. Like that was the entire scene.
Was it 4? I thought it was 3.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I wish the sniper was outside my window to end me while I was watching this shit movie.
I mean, even so, it's like, you're telling me this dude is across the street with a sniper rifle, which, by the way, the rifle he was using, or she, whoever, I seriously doubt you're going to use a rifle like that for an engagement that close. Like, I don't know much, but I know that. That's a proper sniper rifle. It looked like a Barrett.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
Strap up the 50 cal with the 80 times scope. Like, I can snipe the flea off the ass of a fucking tiger from 3 million miles away, or I can engage 6 assholes in a room from 10 feet. Those are my 2 options.
It's like you wouldn't be using that. You'd be using like a DMR, designated marksman's rifle.
Yep.
You know, you'd be using probably I don't know about bolt action, probably not, but something, you know, that's not quite so fucking crazy. Because there was one part where I think Michael B. Jordan went behind cover on one of the walls, and a bullet ricocheted like right next to his head, like on the opposite side of the wall, and I'm looking at it going, if that gun was putting out the rounds that it should, that would have just splattered his shit everywhere, because there is no way a gun that powerful is going to get stopped by that concrete.
Yeah.
And even if it does, the impact is still going to shoot fucking concrete out the other side, and it's still going to concuss him. Like, there's just no way.
There was a lot of suspense.
I don't believe it.
There was a lot of like suspending disbelief in this movie, like from the beginning of it, like all the shit that goes down, and I feel like everything's like super rushed and super convenient. Like it's always like so in the opening of the movie, like that guy fires the RPG magically, the absolute perfect hole opens up from that RPG. Michael B. Jordan rolls away, and he's like, all right, cool. It's perfect space for them to drop down to a truck below so they don't have to fall too far. And then like whenever he's in the house and they cut the power, and like just as they cut the power, his laptop fucking dies. Like, thanks, like thank God for that. That laptop's a real bro, because otherwise they were fucked. Like he was fucked otherwise.
So that laptop was literally the Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, that thing became sentient, and I was like, I want this fucker to touch on me more. Michael B. Jordan, press my buttons, please. And then like they just tried to keep him alive. Like. I mean, and Michael B. Jordan's great. He's a great actor. I love him. Like, even his acting in this movie was good. It was just the plot line, like, fell apart. It's like even when they're in that sniper situation and they escape, it's like 1 second they're all together, and, like, he escapes with his captain or whatever, and she disappears, and he, like, goes to look the way that she went, and all of a sudden there's cops there, and then, like, a fucking split second later, she's fighting the dude across the way. It's like, I don't even understand how you got over there that fast. Like, all of the shit that happens in this movie, like, you're just like, there's no way any of that would happen. Oh, there's this giant explosion in this building. One fucking cop car shows up. Like,
yeah,
what? Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, I get he's supposed to be badass and we're supposed to be like, none of it. It's all convenient shit. They, like, after they have the opening scene, they're at the party. There's 3 kids playing chess there. Like, these young ass kids. There ain't no fucking way they're playing chess. And then Michael B. Jordan just leans over and asserts his intelligence dominance on them and makes one move and ends the game. It's like, all right, it's only there to show that he's smart. That's the only fucking reason they're playing chess in that house right now, is to show that Michael B. Jordan's intelligent. Like, I don't, it's so fucking stupid.
And what I loved about that in particular was if you watch the younger kid, the one at the end of the table,
Yep.
like he looks up at Michael Jordan and he looks at the kid he's playing with, and you just see, I think he mouthed like, that's bullshit or something.
Yeah. That kid did not want to be there at all. That kid's like, fucking,
No.
what's game sucks? Let's play some checkers. Like, I don't understand chess. It's bullshit.
I want to play Connect 4.
Yeah. Welcome on in, Ring.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, that was the entire thing. Like, even the big fight, like, it seemed like that should have been way shorter. It should have been towards the beginning of the movie to expose all of the back-end corruption, and then him battling the corruption should have been like a giant battle, like a long drawn-out thing. Not necessarily drawn out, but you should have flushed that out more. Outside of like, okay, they caught the fourth guy. The fourth guy reveals fucking everything. It's half the movie, and then the part where he actually goes back and gets revenge is like 5 minutes. Like, it's a fucking,
like
it's an Uber ride. Like, that's all it is. It blows my mind. That's why, like, after that fight, I was like, I really hope this movie is like 2 times longer than what it says it is, because there's still a lot of shit that's got to be uncovered, and sure as shit, it wasn't. And the big, like, background shit just fell flat on its face to me.
Yeah, when before I started watching it, you actually mentioned like there were about 5 or 6 noteworthy things.
Yep.
And like looking back at it, I was just kind of like, "Yep, that's about right."
Spot on, brother.
Yeah. I mean, the ones that stick out in my mind the most are not even moments in the movie, which is really sad, but the actor that played Ritter.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan of his for close to 20 years. I didn't even realize it was him.
I honestly have no idea who he is at this point.
Yeah, most people probably don't, unfortunately, because he's been in things like Jumper and that shitty Fantastic Four movie.
Okay,
and
I've watched those.
He played the Thing in that, so of course you would.
Oh, yeah, okay. Jumper I watched, but it's been a while. Jamie Bell, okay.
Yeah, I actually found him via a movie called Billy Elliot.
Yeah, that's his main credit. It turns out, yeah.
Yeah, that's what most people know him for. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, I mean, and I liked him in this. Their whole setup for him was like,
he did great in this.
Yeah, like their whole setup for him was a little weird. Where like you just like you suspect him the entire time, and then like it's not like, okay, we figure it out. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm not actually a dick. Like,
yeah, that was a thing. Like he did a good job at masking whatever Ritter had going on. You got me so good at hiding. You got me behind the.
Oh God, dude. Okay, so I tried to set up your background today with your swamp thing. By the way, we gave Vox is waiting around in the swamp. So I set that up today, and as soon as I put the picture in, it completely fucked everything about all of the scenes. So I had to rebuild all of the scenes today.
Oh Jesus!
Dude, you think that it wouldn't be such a pain in the ass to actually accomplish a podcast? You would have thought that doing this would have been difficult, but yeah, it's pretty fucking difficult to get it set up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in Snowpiercer, which I really like, and I didn't even realize he was in Snowpiercer, and I couldn't tell you who he is in Snowpiercer, but I like the Snowpiercer movie. But does he have like a hard-on for fucking Chris Evans? Is that his thing? Like he just... Because wasn't Chris Evans in Fantastic Four too?
He was in the original Fantastic
Four. That's the... Okay, so the Fantastic Four he's in is with that Miles Teller kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan.
Came out and nobody remembered.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan plays Johnny Storm. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot he played Johnny Storm. The sound changes from one out. Oh my God. Okay, we're just gonna stay in talking. You guys don't get to look at shit today. Fucking.
Oh, man.
I actually. So okay, I'm gonna have to work on this. I haven't had enough time to work on the layouts for shit, and apparently
we've been busy this week.
Yeah, the audio sources are just completely screwed. So the only time that we've actually been able to test things was about 5 minutes before we went live.
Yeah. Because we actually meant to do this for like the past 3 days, and just neither of us had the time for it.
Yep, we both got fucked pretty bad this week. So, all right. So yeah, I mean, overall,
it was a fun movie.
Yeah,
sort of. This is one of those ones I want to say that I can recommend it with caveats. Like, I wouldn't dissuade someone from watching it.
No.
Which is about the most lukewarm response I think I can give. Like, it's not the kind of movie that I would say, no, don't watch it. It's garbage. It's serviceable. Like, if you're curious, I like even with Tom Clancy's name on it, I look at it and I'm like, hey, I guess. I mean, it's Russia versus the U.S., like Cold War kind of shit, but it's 2019 in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, watch it if you want to.
Yeah, that's about the best that I can say too. Just it's an enjoyable watch, but I mean it's not even really necessarily an enjoyable watch. Yeah, what I would say is watch this so whenever they come out with the inevitable sequel, you're ready to go. Like, yeah, that's the best I could say at this point. Just it's a worthwhile watch to get an introduction into the world that is Without Remorse. Dude, it was all set up for the Rainbow Six movie. Please give it to me. The problem is
people in Rainbow Six have teams. Homeboy doesn't anymore.
Nope, his team is donezo. That poor motherfucker. Yeah, his wife, he's holding a baby, feeding his baby. His wife, could you take the fucking garbage out? He's like, all right, I got it. Going to take the garbage out. His daughter's hollering for him to come back. And he says, 1 second. And then I was like, oh, he's fucked. As soon as he said 1 second, I was like, you're fucked, brother. You're fucked.
Bro, my note for that one is, what is it? Oh, hey, what the fuck? They ran over Chris Hemsworth.
My note for the second dude they kill was never back down guy got back down.
Wait, which one was that?
That's one where he's driving in the car talking to his wife, and he gets shot through the window of his car. The only thing I remember him from ever is Never Back Down. He's the bad guy in Never Back Down. That's forever to me. That's the guy. That's who that guy is. And that motherfucker backed down real quick whenever he took about 25 shots of whoever killed to his chest.
Oh yeah. My note for that one is Atlanta traffic is accurate.
Yep. So that's Without Remorse. Yeah. Once again, it's on Amazon Prime. If you have a Prime subscription and you're out of shit to watch, it's worth throwing on. It sucks because I waited for like a month. Like when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, dude, I cannot fucking wait for that to come out. It came out. I was like, I'm watching this day. Like I'm getting ready. Like I'm so excited for it. And it was like, I just sat there blue-balled on the couch afterwards. I was like, all right, well, that did not meet expectations, but it's not a horror. Maybe because my expectations were so high. Maybe that's why I felt so mediocre about it. But your expectations were certainly high because you're a giant Tom Clancy fan. And I like Tom Clancy and I love action movies. And I was like, this is going to be great. And it just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
It was like, if you go to a really fancy restaurant, but they do stuff like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Like, you got these powdered sugar French toast with, like, high-quality peanut butter and, like, the nicest fucking grape jelly. And it's just, like, the actual fucking jam. Like, you pay $25 for this thing. Like, that's the kind of expectation you have. What you get is Walmart brand peanut butter and jelly on Wonder Bread.
No, what you get is that Smucker's 2-in-1 jar. That's what you get. And you get croutons to dip in it. Like that's that's all you get.
That is rotten.
I mean, how gourmet can you make a PB&J? I mean, like, it's got...
Probably could.
I mean, yeah, what do you add? It's peanuts that are buttery. Like, I mean, you can make some fresh fruit shit, but that's about the extent that you're going to get.
I think the fact that we're more excited trying to figure out a gourmet PB&J than actually talking about this movie says a lot.
Yep, it does say a lot. And Mel, you're not wrong, dude. It is work. And it's like, OBS sucks. OBS is kind of a brick of shit when it comes to setting up for stuff like this, because especially whenever like audio is a big thing for you, like properly setting up audio, because like for the longest time I had Vox up to 200%. I had his slider in the mixer completely maxed out and he was still quiet, and I had myself turned all the way down. But now I have some headroom where I can bring Vox up further and make it better. I don't know, and I don't really know how OBS works, and that's what we're going to have to kind of work on a little bit, because I'm monitoring his output but blocking his actual output, so it might be getting metered by like my main audio source. I'm not 100% sure yet, but from everything I could tell so far, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like the audio is working, like it's balanced out from what I heard of it. So
yeah. Sparrow, I have no doubt Sparrow could make that.
Yeah, Sparrow is like, he's a god. Yeah, I don't understand, man.
Absolute god.
Every time I talk to Sparrow, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? What lab did they make this wonderful specimen in, bro? What the fuck?
Man, Sparrow is one of the most incredible people I've had the absolute good fortune to stumble over in my life. I swear. I've known him for about 4 years now, I think.
I'm glad you brought him over. I know.
Me too, man. Like, the thing was, it might be longer than that. Because we met when we were doing, I know I was doing videos on a site called VidMe. Which is like a YouTube alternative. It's shut down now. But I don't remember how we connected. It might have been through our friends Ray and Rocky, because they knew everybody. They were like the guys that you go to if you need something. Like,
it's the glue that held everybody together. The peanut butter to your bread. It's the one. It was the bonding agent.
They were the gourmet peanut butter and jelly.
Vampy did say something that sounds really good to me. Now I really want a fucking PB&J that's cooked like a grilled cheese. I'm really interested in that.
That shit bangs.
That sounds good to me.
Grilled PB&J is fucking banging.
That sounds good. Okay. That's gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna fat it up tomorrow with like 6 of those fuckers and regret my life.
It's gonna be your crippling addiction for tomorrow. Mine will continue to be DayZ. Oh my god, I've played DayZ since it was just a mod for Arma 2 back when it dropped, I think in like March or April of 2011.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I've played it on and off over the years, and oh my god.
So,
you know, the past couple of days I've been fighting with it.
Yeah, so like the classic edition, I'm assuming is pretty dead. Like the one that was the Arma 2 mod, like the original one, I'm assuming it's not very populated at all anymore.
Oh, dude, you'd be surprised. Like,
really?
I was surprised. Like, I fired up, there's an external launcher you can use. It's recommended you use to manage the mods and find servers.
Okay.
Called DayZ Commander. And I fired that bitch up, and there were servers with like 30 people, 40 people, 50. And it's just like, and it's not like there's only 2 or 3 of them. I mean, we're talking, dozens, which for a game, a mod of that age, it's just like, what the fuck?
See, and that does blow my mind, because I figured once the standalone came out that a lot of people would move to the standalone from like the classic mod, because like I played the original classic mod and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing at all. Like I've never. Okay, that book just fell off that shelf. Okay, cool. Let's get this shit out of me.
Yeah, it did.
I've never understood what I was supposed to be doing inside of DayZ. I've always just like the first time I ever played it, I got fucking absolutely just crushed by 35 zombies, and then I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this.
No, yeah, it depends on what you want to do. Because there are a couple of different play styles. There's like what I would always do was I have the survivor mentality of it all, where I would avoid people. Like I didn't want to I'm not big on PvP and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would just, run into a town, grab some supplies, and just fucking run. And that was it. And eventually you get a feel for it, and there are extra mods you can use, like Epoch. Epoch is the most popular one.
Okay.
As far as I know, at least it was before I quit playing. Epoch
and what's that?
Become like the one.
What's that change about it? What was that adding or whatever?
And you saw what original like vanilla DayZ was like, where you just kind of dropped in, and it's like, all right, go ahead. What Epoch does is it gives you a bit more world building, I guess. It depends on the servers, but you can, find supplies to build a base. You can have a safe with a combination lock that you set. There can be vendors. You can, buy vehicles. You can buy weapons. You can buy ammo. You can buy supplies
Okay.
if you want to.
So basically,
But
turn
you
it
can
into like a
still
7
craft.
days to die kind of like survival thing.
Yeah, kind of. And, you also have other players that can come by and fuck shit up at your base if you're,
Yeah.
easily
Okay.
found.
Okay.
I avoided that by just living in actual houses in the game.
So like, and it's always been a game I've been interested in because it is kind of the thing that I'm into. It's a zombie like kind of realism kind of game, and
Oh, yeah.
whenever they did the standalone, like I played the standalone for a little bit. I always got my fucking dick kicked in. Like I would find one hat and be like, "Oh my god, dude, I'm rich!" And then like some asshole would roll through with like an Apache fucking helicopter or something, and like destroy me. And I was like, I don't understand. Like I never understood it. And then for a long time they talked about releasing like the new version of it. Like they were gonna re-release it. There was like for years they talked about it. And then whenever they dropped that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. And I downloaded it and I was like trying to figure it out, especially because like I had played Tarkov and I kind of had more of an appreciation for that type of game where it was like a looter shooter, but this was more open world and it was more survival based. And I just couldn't fucking figure it out. Like I just don't. It's almost like I wish that there was some deeper. At least for like your first few hours, like at least hold my hand a little bit so I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's like with Tarkov where there's no tutorial and a lot of people that come to Tarkov are like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do, and they stop playing. Like it's a rough situation to be in. What's going on, Loki?
Ken's right. You're at 777.
Yep. Yep, I noticed her today. I'm also, I think, like 280 hours away from 2,000 total hours streamed. So we're coming up on that.
Nice.
So, yeah, man. It's been good. It's been a good month. So what are you doing with DayZ? So you're playing the standalone now. Are you like, have you run into a lot of people? Has it been pretty actiony?
I actually have not seen a single fucking person.
And
there's actually a lot of history for the standalone too. Some of the stuff you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But no, go ahead. We can talk about that in a second.
And that's I was curious about, like, it seemed like a lot of people really started coming back to it, and I thought it was actually going to have a giant resurgence with that new mod. I thought that it was going to be like where it exploded again, kind of like whenever, and I keep comparing it to Tarkov because it's about the closest thing in my head that I can compare to.
I can see it.
Like whenever Tarkov got its big blow up was whenever big streamers started running it. So like Dr. Lupo and like those guys, whenever they started playing it more regularly, like Tarkov was one of the biggest games at the time, and like Battlestate Games couldn't keep up with their servers and shit. And I thought DayZ, whenever it came out with their new iteration that people have been waiting years for, that it was just going to explode. And I don't think that it's definitely not petered out. It's definitely still alive, but I don't think that it's anywhere near where it could have been if they had either done what they were trying to do sooner or done what they were trying to do better.
Yeah, it's the history for standalone is a kind of a sad one. Because I think it was originally supposed to release in December of 2012.
Okay.
Because the developer Dean Hall, who created the original DayZ mod, worked for Bohemia Interactive, the company that developed Arma.
Oh shit. Okay.
So what he wanted to do was use the money, like the huge influx of money, because when DayZ dropped, the game fucking popped off. Like millions of copies sold. So they were like, well, shit, we have money now. We're not just a little shoebox shitty developer anymore. We're like this is it.
We're the studio now.
Yeah. So they, I know they wanted to try to have it worked out, but at the same time, Arma 2 was pretty old by that point. So they were also trying to develop Arma 3, like the engine and everything. But Dean was like, well, I want to do a standalone. So what they did was they were kind of developing them side by side. So they would have the one for Arma 3, and then they'd have the fork for DayZ standalone. The problem was, like, it didn't really get much attention. Dean Hall left Bohemia Interactive, which everybody was just kind of like, Huh? What?
No, we
kind of
need
your
you.
brain for this.
Come back,
So-
Dean. I promise I'll be better.
Exactly. And I think it officially released in like 2014 or something like that. But by that point, like nobody cared anymore. Everybody was over it. We were all tired of the it's coming soon, and it's like it just got to the point where nobody cared anymore.
Yeah. I feel like games stay in these beta open, like these beta or early access modes forever. Like once again, Tarkov has been a beta game for like 6 fucking years at this point. Like there's a certain point in time, and they're always adding stuff, and it's going to eventually be a huge game. And even as an early access game, it's still not without its problems, but it's pretty flushed out. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. I
But
gotta
like,
pick it up someday.
there's got to be some type of time frame window where like DayZ was really bad about this, where they just kept saying like, oh yeah, it's coming, and it almost seemed like it got scrapped, and people were like, what the fuck? And then nope, it's coming. We promise it's coming. It's gonna be here eventually. Yep. This date, this year, and it's like, dude, just fucking work on it and like stop promising me shit, because that's what bugs me more about developers than anything. Is like, I don't care if you're in early access. Stop giving me dates and like then cucking me. Like just work on it, bro. Like I'm fine with that.
That was one of the biggest problems that they had with the standalone, was they kept giving dates for when it would be out, instead of just saying, hey, we're working on it, this is what we've got.
Yep.
I think the community would have been a little bit more receptive to that than, all right, it's going to be December 2012, and then it's, well, we're going to push it back to December 2013, and it's like, dude, by the time December 2013 rolled around, do you think I gave a shit about DayZ anymore?
Yeah, then that's the problem.
Fuck no.
That's the problem. And they didn't even like, it was, the standalone came out, and how long were they working on this new? I think it was like 5 or 6 years. Like, and they just kept promising shit. Like, whenever you do that, you lose all of your steam. Like, that's any hype you had around your game, like, it's just gone. And every, like, it's like people are like, okay, it's finally here. This is the month. I'm finally going to get what I want. And then, oh, actually, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And devs need to learn that. And more so than devs need to learn that, fucking the people that are the numbers people need to learn that. Like, the publishers need to fucking understand that all you're doing is hurting your figures at the end of the day if you keep trying to push the company to say when it's going to be done.
Yeah, that's just going to make everybody upset.
Yep.
Because then you'll have the developers that are upset because they didn't get to flesh out their vision, and then you're going to have the people playing the game that are upset because they didn't get the vision that they'd hoped for.
Yep. And the devs are the middleman at that point, so they just get shit on, and it's the way it happens. And then you have these problems where people start to look at the numbers, see how it was affected by all of that, and then they start churning out games that are so far deviated from what people wanted in the first place that like it just kind of ruins the company, and then they fall to the wayside. Like it's a pretty vicious cycle. Like being a game dev sucks. It's one of the most like fruitless jobs, because no matter what you do, you're getting death threats. Like, yeah,
somebody's going to be upset at the end of the day.
Well, the Cyberpunk situation was very similar to that. Like, people I
didn't want to name it, but
dude. It's
Cyberpunk.
What's the name of the studio? I fought about it for so long. CD Projekt Red. So everybody jawbreakered their dick forever over Witcher. Like it was one of the game devs that could absolutely do no fucking wrong for years. They fucking loved them. Like it was, they were gigantic.
We had this conversation before. I think like you and I had this conversation before, not on here though.
Like people absolutely love CG Projekt Red, and then it came down to Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk was super ambitious, and there was a lot of shit that they were going to need to do with it. And at the end of the day, what happened is they just got pushed, and it was both. And it's hard. This is a little bit of a different situation because I think they were dev and publisher, so they were. It wasn't like they had some outside force company-wise pushing them, but they had a fan base that was super pushing them, and like. They put this game out.
The trailer was in like 2013.
Yeah, and they put
that probably didn't help.
They put the game out, and it's fucked. And there's no way around it. It was completely fucked. They shouldn't have pushed it out when they pushed it out, but they were feeling pressure. They release it, and it crushed them more so than it should have, because whenever they released it and had problems, they were like, okay, we're going to do everything we can to rectify the issue. We're going to release patches. We're going to let you pull it off the store. We're going to let you do all this shit. We're going to give you your money back. And then Sony was like, no refunds. Nope, we're not refunding for like a bit, like a couple weeks. And people were fucking pissed about that. But people got pissed at CG Projekt Red, not fucking Sony. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody was like, fuck Sony, they're not. No, it was Sony's fault that you weren't able to get refunds on the PS4 where the game was completely fucking absolutely broken and jank. Yeah. And it seems like if you played it and you didn't have the issues that were plaguing people, it was a really enjoyable game. But people gave them no time to rectify the issue. And once you should release a game that's finished. That's on CG Projekt Red. That 100%. You should release a game that's playable whenever it comes out. It should be a good game. There's no doubt about that. And it's happening less and less because it kind of branches back into the early access or beta shit. They just release it, and if anybody has any problems with their game, they're like, well, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
But
in some cases, the devs care enough to actually work on it.
Yeah. And CG Projekt Red is one of those, they listen to people's feedback and they try their best to fix shit, but it tarnished them forever. They almost went fucking bankrupt over it. You went from being one of the most loved devs of all time to being on level with EA. Like, everybody fucking hated you.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Like, I think what it's a lot easier said than done, but I really think what devs need to do is just, go back to like that Blizzard or id Software philosophy of, when it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, and Cable, it was 100%. Not alive in the 80s. Yeah, 100%. 80s fucking sucked. The 80s were bullshit.
Fuck off. The 80s were amazing.
Fucking AIDS everywhere. Fucking seagulls running around. Get the fuck out of here.
We still had Freddie Mercury in the 80s. Fuck you.
Everyone's hair was incredibly stupid. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Now EA is one of the, but everybody just keeps feeding them fucking Monster, like it's not going to be the same shit. And it's kind of the same situation like with all the scalpers. Everybody bitches about the scalpers for these consoles, but then they just fucking give them all the money. Like, it's the only reason scalpers are around is because they can make money off of doing it. That's the only reason. So if you stop paying $1,000 for a fucking $500 console, asshole, stop it. You don't need to do that. Wait until the fucker goes on sale next year. Sorry if little Jimmy wants it for fucking Christmas. Little Jimmy can fucking fuck off, all right? Just stop feeding scalpers. Because what happens is anytime anything that has a fucking chip in it is released, people are like, oh, gotta buy every fucking piece of it, and then turn around and sell it for 6 times the fucking amount. Like, stop, bro. Stop. Fucking ridiculous. People are morons. Fuck people. Fuck people.
Well, it's like a turn from DayZ.
I know. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here.
Either. Yep. I'm just along for the ride.
So you've been enjoying yourself though, outside of the fact you have to play the standalone?
Yeah, the game's a lot more tolerable if you play on community servers, because community servers have mods on them.
Yeah. Okay.
Which help. One of the major things was they were working on in the mod. The original mod was having a dog companion.
Okay, I feel like I saw pictures of that.
Yeah, they were working on it. I actually had a dog I was working on making my companion, and one of my friends shot it. He's an asshole.
Jesus Christ! Sorry, Fido. This is not a world for you. What?
Yeah, so I hit him with an A130, which is a gigantic airplane, if you don't know. I cut the engines, hopped out, and just let it roll down the tarmac, fucking hit him.
Revenge is a dish best served by a fucking airplane.
You goddamn right. So, like, there are things to make it more comfortable. Like, there's the server I found earlier today where it has some of the things that I liked about certain servers on the old versions of DayZ, where you just start with a map and it shows your location on the map. Like, that's all I need to be happy.
Yeah.
I can do the rest from there. That's not normal, I guess, on a lot of these standalone servers, which is a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I've never known where I was when I played DayZ, ever.
Yeah. That's one of the things that bugs me about the standalone, is when you do spawn in, it doesn't tell you where you are, whereas the mod, it would pop up on the screen for a second, like, oh, you're in Chernogorsk, oh, you're in Kamenka, or you're in Kamarovo.
And that's what kind of sucks. It doesn't really leave the doors open for new players. For hardcore players, they don't mind, but new players, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna work out. It's like a bad shitty where you go on one date and you're like, all right, well, she fucking farted on her food at the restaurant. I don't think this is gonna work out. That's the equivalent of not knowing where you are in DayZ.
Yeah. Like I was and that's actually a good point to make. Like the hardcore players, like the guys like me who've put hundreds of hours into DayZ already. Like I was, the Rings was watching me play last night, and like I'm running along the coast. I'm like, okay, I kind of know vaguely where I am. And then I looked over to the right, and it's like there's this one little island that's in one specific part of the map, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly where I am because of that island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's like, you can tell because of that island. I'm like, yes, I can tell because of that island.
Well, like landmarking in games, and DayZ is a little bit different. But once again, I'm going to take it back to Tarkov. You have to landmark in Tarkov too. But after a certain point, it just becomes a nuisance. Like I know where I'm at, but I don't know like if I'm left or right of this. I know in general that if I go over here, it's cool. But like if you take a break and come back, you're fucked. Like there's no, and any new player that comes in, immediately they're turned off. So all that does is make the servers less populated, make it less fun, and kind of drives away business. So there are some quality of life things that, despite I understand you want your game to be as hardcore as possible, there are quality of life things that are going to make your game much more receptive. Like more people are going to be receptive of your shit if there's just some quality of life things. Because as much as you want the game to be realistic, it's a fucking game. It's a game.
Yeah. Like one of the big differences is in vanilla, just no mods. Like vanilla DayZ was tough, but you could go into houses or farms or whatever with spawn where you knew stuff would spawn, and you could pretty much always find at least one thing to eat, at least one thing to drink. You could go into certain buildings and like I found a fucking crossbow with a couple bolts in it in one.
Shit.
And that, and that's stuff that you should be finding within like the first 30 minutes just to, not fucking clothes for dress up, which is a majority of what I've found in the vanilla version of the standalone. But dude, like the standalone, the drop rates, the loot tables, they're fucking awful.
Yeah.
Like absolute garbage.
Yeah, I've never had much luck outside of finding like a new pair of shoes. Like I think I've had one weapon one time and it was like a rusty metal shard, and I'm like, cool. Like I'm gonna give this zombie tetanus. Awesome. Like that's my main fucking give this disease fuck another disease. That's the only thing I have going for me right now.
Yeah. But like community servers they're like the golden goat of the standalone for sure. There's one I played on. If you're interested in hopping on it at some point, picking it up, I'll tell you which one it is and we can fuck around. But like I was checking it out earlier, like an hour before we had to start, and I only played for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I showed Ring a screenshot of it. Like I found a place to camp, to log out. And I'm sitting there with like fucking work boots, a full policeman's outfit, a fucking, tack vest. I got a fucking bicycle helmet. Like I've got a shotgun with ammo for it. I've got a handgun with ammo for it. And it's like, this isn't high quality, high end gear. In the terms of DayZ, it's enough to get started.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. Like I can go on my own from there.
And I definitely think that we should play it because I would like to play it with somebody who has played it. So that I am not just wandering around lost. Like, I'd like to have at least some guidance that I know, like, okay, I'm here, I'm cool. But it definitely, I think the community servers, and I never played on the community servers, I think that would get me way further into the game. Because every single time I've played it, I play for like 3 hours and like I have nothing. I'm fucking starving. I have like 19 fucking zombies chasing me. I have no means of defense, and I'm just like, dude, I've wasted 3 hours of my fucking time. Like it's brutal. And that's kind of and that's like I love those types of games, and obviously I love Tarkov, but once again it's the same situation of like I've played for 3 hours and I've lost everything. Like I've wasted so much of my fucking time. And it's what makes the game fun. But at the same rate, it's hard because I'm such an impatient, spazzy fuck that, like, I could have spent that 3 hours doing absolutely anything else and gotten so much more done.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get over that mentality with games like that.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think if I ever recommend the DayZ standalone to anybody, it's, go in and look for community servers, because one of the great things about standalone is that when you have custom servers, you can click on it and it's like, okay, this one in particular has, say, 13 mods that it requires. Oh, okay. So you click join and then a window pops up and it's like, here's a list of all the mods that you need. Oh, okay. It's like, do you want to just connect now, or do you want to download whatever's required for it? Just click download whatever's required, and a couple minutes later, it's all set and good to go, and you hop in, and it's like, fuck, this is way better than all the bullshit trouble I've had with old school DayZ.
That's a great quality of life thing. Like, having them offered up on a platter, because and that's what you're never, like, joining community servers, like 95% of the time, especially when you're new to the game, you're not going to know what the fuck all that means. So the game just being like, yeah, dude, here's everything you need. If you need to scroll through the page while they're downloading to figure out what it does, whatever, cool, but we'll get this taken care of for you. You just sit back and relax, big dog. I got you. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, game. I appreciate you. You're the shit.
And the best part is, all of the mods and stuff that are required from the servers, it's all through Steam Workshop, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's really nice.
You never have to worry about it.
That's really nice. But, I feel like that's going to be... Cool. I feel like that's a thing that's going away with bigger studio games. But I think small studios are going to have it, which... Yeah, we could use that to segue to our next category.
I was that could lead to a segue, since we want to talk about mods. But.
Yeah. So, Resident Evil Village got released, as most of you know, a week ago today. So you haven't really played it yourself. You've just been watching streams of it, right? So
yep, I've watched a handful of people, like very specific people, play it.
Yep. So if you've been, like, I know you were in the stream for a lot of it. I really enjoyed the game. I thoroughly enjoyed the game, and I'm gonna try to keep from spoiling it, because I feel like I just finished it this week, and times people were busy. Like, I'm gonna do my best not to spoil anything. Overall, the story to me ended up being one of my favorite stories for Resident Evil ever. Like, they did a lot of shit tying back to other games, they finally, like, everything that I felt that 7 was missing on, anything I felt like 7 was missing story-wise, 8 made up for. And it kind of made me appreciate 7 more because of 8's storyline. So the story, as far as I'm concerned, was great. The gameplay, I only got to play about 3/4 of the game on standard. Then
oh God, yeah.
I died to an instant death boss, and we all know how fucking crazy clicky I am. And I accidentally locked myself into casual, which is the easiest fucking difficulty level on the entire game. So leading up to that point, I was playing on standard, and through the entire playthrough, I was like, standard's too easy. I wish I would have played hardcore. Standard's too easy. I wish I would have played hardcore. Standard's too easy. I wish I would have played hardcore. And then I noticed, like, shit getting super easy. So I roll in, I save, and I look at my difficulty, and it says casual. And casual is fucking mind-numbingly boring. It is mind-numbingly boring. So what happened is, on that one spot where I insta-deathed, it asked me, do you want to change your difficulty level to casual? Because it looks like you're fucking struggling, you noob. You look like shit.
Scrubbling?
Scrubbling. Yeah, that's the new
scrubbling.
Yep. That's the new thing. That's scrubbling is the thing. So, like, I was just ready to get back in the game. So I'm like mashing enter. I don't see the fucking dialogue box that's going to ruin the rest of my experience. So, like, all of the crazy shit that happens from almost 3/4 of the way, and, like, it doesn't seem like, okay, you were 3/4 of the way through. What did you? The last quarter of the game has a lot of shit that, if it's on a harder difficulty level, would have had so much more of an impact. So my first playthrough was ruined because for some fucking reason, Capcom's like, after one single death in an area where difficulty level doesn't matter, because you're gonna die by that hit either way, they were like, hey man, here's casual, fucking enjoy. So while the story was incredible, all the moments in the game that should have been like super hyped to me, like, oh man, that enemy's crazy, oh no, this thing's chasing me, like all that shit just lost all of its value.
Yeah. So
I think that all of that being said, Capcom really needs to think about the inability to change difficulty levels inside of their campaign. But we've been doing Village of Shadows on stream, and I have a couple new game plus items. The main thing I've been using is just the infinite ammo grenade launcher, which I stopped using. I've just been using my more upgraded weapons. If I need the grenade launcher, I'll pull it out, but I pretty much focus on regular weapons. That, to me, I feel like hardcore new game or Village of Shadows with a little bit of new game plus is the perfect spot for Resident Evil Village playthroughs. I think that's like, if you're gonna play it, play hardcore casual first, and then like Village of Shadows with a little bit extra. And it makes me appreciate the game way more. It makes me appreciate all of it way more. I 100% recommend it, and I've been enjoying myself.
It sounds like it. Like it seems like you've been getting a lot out of it. And hello, Hurry.
What's up, Hurry? He's drunk as fuck.
Him.
So, are you gonna pick it up, Vox? Or what's your plan with that?
Definitely. After, like, I obviously I was watching you play through it. I didn't get the entire thing, but yeah, watching you play it, the difficulty problem aside, it looks really good. I mean, I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I was also watching Kuribo play it. But everything that I saw, especially story-wise, because I think we all know I'm not the biggest fan of 7. I will antagonistically make fun of it constantly, with good reason. But I do think the bits of story that I got, and I think I've got I've got like kind of the blanket idea of Village and how it's tying back to 7.
Yep.
It does make me appreciate 7 a little bit more. I still stand by my conspiracy theory, though.
Yeah,
100%.
And I think we can say that without really spoiling anything, is that Vox's theory, and you can say, I'll let you say it if you would like.
Sure. My initial theory of 7 when I finished it, a couple of years back, was that it wasn't intended to ever be a Resident Evil property. It was supposed to be a new IP, and Capcom got cold feet at the last second, thinking that it wouldn't be good enough for whatever reasons. I think they were right. And they slapped Chris Redfield in there with a fucking helicopter with a bad paint job of Umbrella and slapped the Resident Evil name on it, and they were like, here you go, here's a new Resident Evil game. It's like...
And there's people that 100% disagree with that. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think it's 100% a possibility, especially with how much of the story they've added since then.
Yeah. I think it's even a stronger theory now, given 8's out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
People are allowed to disagree with that. I mean, that's just a theory.
Yep.
A game theory.
No, dude. But
that's the last time I'm ever on this show.
Do you understand? Do you understand that you're not allowed? You understand you're not allowed to have an opinion about Resident Evil? You're not allowed to go against the hive mind for Resident Evil. That's not the way it works.
The hive mind can suck my dick.
Game theory. You can fuck yourself.
I will get antagonistic with any fandom that I'm a part of.
Dude,
that's never been a problem for me.
So my gripe always was with 7, like your enemy, like there just wasn't enough different enemy type. And once again,
was always annoying.
I enjoyed 7. It felt like the survival horror at that point. I felt like it was really open to new players of the series, and it almost feels like Village is also really open to new players of the series because the situation where you just don't have enough to get by is no longer a thing. You're basically, by the time you're done with Village, you're a one-man fucking army. You are a wrecking ball rolling through the village. Like, it is, you have so much ammo. You are just a fucking monster. Like, It's crazy.
You're that kid from Hook. Or from Hook. Fucking rolling down.
Yep, got it all. It's fucking... And I don't even necessarily mind that. I like shooter games, but the horror element, like, the dollhouse is scary. And it was the only situation... The only situation in this game where, like, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, there's obviously, like... anything that naturally comes with chasey horror games, like oh, you just missed that like by an inch, like you almost got fucked up but you didn't get fucked up but it was super close, like those like heart-dropping moments still happen because that's chasing, like that's what chasing enemies do to you. It's been the same thing, like it was the same thing with Jack in 7, like your butthole was puckered the entire time because if you got caught you were getting fucked up. Outside of that,
one thing I really like about 8 is the pursuer mechanic isn't prevalent.
Yeah,
I guess is the one way I can say it without giving any spoilers.
Yep, it's not. They did it just enough, but not too much. Yeah.
There we go. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they didn't RE2 or they didn't RE3 remake it or RE2 remake it where.
Remake 2 was the fucking worst.
But, and once again, I have all these, I'm very easy to please when it comes to gaming, but there are things that I can recognize about the game that aren't perfect. I don't think it's necessarily a masterpiece by gameplay and story play alone. The story is fucking phenomenal. If you are a fan of the Resident Evil series, I think that the direction that they're taking it in, I think it's going to be good. And I hope they continue with that. The best part of the entire game is Big Titty Lady, man. She's fucking great. Yeah. She's great. But not enough titty for my playthrough, okay? Not enough titty. The duration of titty is too little titty. There's just too little titty. A lot of titty in that little titty duration, but... Oh, yeah. Man, tall as shit.
Oh, yeah. What is it, fucking 9'6"?
Yeah, so...
One of the things, like, if we're going to go into character design, one of the things that got me, and I think I was actually commenting on it in your chat when we were looking at it, but the 3 sisters, the 3 daughters, I'm like, how the fuck do you tell them apart? They all look exactly the same. They're a bunch of pasty white chicks in fucking black robes.
Yep.
And, their hair color is different? I can't fucking tell. They all look identical to me.
Yeah, and I think that kind of is almost intended to be that way because they're supposed to... I think it was just what happened. Like, basically, it's like... It's hard to talk about without spoiling it. It's so hard. Like, how the fuck do you now? It's like tap dancing around the fucking entire plot of the game. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I think it's almost that they were intended to be identically... like visually, except for the hair. I don't think that was. I think it could almost be chalked up as bad character design because you could have not had that be a feature.
You could have just had one be a repeating like mini boss.
Yeah, and honestly, those fights like
that's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. That whole section,
with a little asterisk.
That whole section, like. You realize like how much happens in that and then how much is left after that. It's surprising how well they kind of balance that out. I don't know. I appreciated the game and I didn't expect it. And honestly, I've been so fucking mad at Capcom lately. I went into it pretty jaded. But by the end of my playthrough, even though my playthrough was fucking botched, I had enjoyed my experience and I'm happy that they've done what they've done.
Yeah, before it came out, there, we're in the same boat where we both have a foundation with streaming when it comes to Resident Evil.
Yep.
And for a long time, I've had people like, "Oh, are you excited for Village? Are you gonna get Village?" And I'm like, before playing the demo, before watching anybody play it, my answer was a very stalwart no to all of it. Not excited, not gonna buy it. I did not like what they did with 7, and I was like, I don't want to reward that behavior, so I'm not going to.
Yep.
But, I figured, fuck it, let me play the demo, let me see what's good, and I enjoyed the demo, the little bit that I got to play. I didn't get to do much combat in it, but I enjoyed the atmosphere, I enjoyed the look, because in the demo, there was the village with Louisa,
Okay.
Like that whole part where you first encounter her and her father.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
the house fire, like that whole bit. And the castle part was, I guess, when you first get to the castle. I think like when you first get there and you wander around and then.
Okay. Yeah, because I never touched the demo, so I had no idea what content was actually in them.
there's a quite a bit that was actually cut out or covered up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and this is one point that I've been making lately where I'm going to amend my hate for Capcom over their shit. I understand why they were so worried about spoilers this time. I get it. Out from the outside looking in before I played, I was pretty pissed about their handling of the demos and stuff. I understand it better now. I still think there's ways to handle it where you could not be fucks about it, but with the way 7 went, that was your experience. You don't want that to happen again. So I understood it a little bit better after that fact.
Yeah. After 7 and just not finding it very, very good, you know, and then Remake 2, where I only played the first 2 scenarios because I couldn't bother to go back and do anything else. Don't.
Yeah. The B scenarios are shit in 2.
I wouldn't. I re-downloaded the demo for Remake 2 the other day, played it for like 30 minutes, and was like, yeah, I don't miss this at all.
And then,
of course, you know, I played Remake 3, and I was kind of like...
See, and I don't even mind 2 and Remake 3. I don't mind them. I enjoyed them as games. I'm once again, I'm really easy to please. To me, Village is the best that they've done since the remaster of 1. Like, that's the best game they've released since remaster of 1. And I don't think that they're ever gonna live up to the remastering of 1. I think that the remaster shit, it's everybody's count. Like, everybody's cashing in on nostalgia. I get it. It pays. It makes money. It pisses a lot of people off, but me personally, I've had fun with every iteration they've done of remakes thus far. But as far as this is a new entry in the series, this is not even as new entry in the series. This is the best to me since 3. Not even 3, 2. This is the best to me since 2. Because 3, I didn't really give a shit that much about. 4 was good, but I wasn't, like, everybody thought it was the best in the series. I'm not in the same boat as them. I enjoyed it. I am not in the same boat that 8 is the best, or 4 is the best in the series. 5 was a huge deviation in my mind, and it's because they were cashing in on the hype at the time around, like, all of the FPSs that, like, all the action that was in the world. Like, COD and Battlefield were super huge at that time. They saw how much 4 did for them with being action. They started down that path. 5 and 6 were super actiony games. And then whenever 7 dropped, it was like the resurgence of survival horror. So it was whenever you had, like, all those Outlast games. You had all that shit coming back down the pipeline, and people were obsessed with it. And, like, yeah, there was like, all the Slenderman shit, like, all that stuff had brought survival horror back, and people were in love with horror games again. And then they released 7 is like, okay, we're kind of nudging our way back in. This is spooky. It's still pretty actiony. About halfway through, it turns into more of a shooter than like a survival horror. And then 8 is, once again, still a pretty shootery, but it had enough variety in it that it didn't get old. It had a great story that kept you, like, into it the entire time. Like, it was the first time since, like, for a long time that, like, I went the whole way through the game, like, okay, like, this is cool. I'm enjoying myself, even though it's on the fucking easiest difficulty.
Yeah. I think, from what I've seen of it, it's probably, for me, the best thing they've done since 5 or 6, because I actually enjoyed 5. Like, 5 is my favorite from that trilogy.
Okay.
Gameplay wise, I think 6 is better, just because it's more, I guess I would say modern with the way it controls. Like, that's the important thing to me, is how it controls.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care otherwise. Like, I want it to control well. That's why, like, when you hear me talk about how I think Blacklist is the best Splinter Cell, that's because, to me, and I don't know if I don't think it's even arguable, it plays better than all the other ones. Yeah,
because it's in that new age control scheme, which I will say this about Village. Whenever I started it up and felt the aim and the movement, I was a little iffy. I was like, this engine shit is a little, like, this engine feels clunky or weird to me. But by the time I got used to it, I enjoyed the gunplay. I enjoyed all that shit.
It looks like a lot of fun. Like, and one of the things though, like you keep saying how it turned into more of a shooter. I think that's kind of justified by the end of the game, personally. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
five and
that's really all my argument on it is.
5 and 6 were multiplayer intended. I understand that.
Oh yeah.
I had nobody to play those with. None of my friends were as into gaming. Like I was the gamer. Like I understand that they were multiplayer intended. There should be some standalone value to them. And there's definitely way more value and fun in it whenever you do multiplayer and co-op. But like at the point in time, there wasn't really, I didn't have anybody that was into that shit. Nobody. So like I played it solo and I just had this fucking dumbass Sheva running around the entire time. And it was the same for 4. The only nice thing about 5 was that it was multiplayer intended. Yeah, that's great, so that the NPC could be controlled by somebody so they weren't complete fucking idiots the entire game. Like that's the big benefit of that. Like that's cool. But 4 was before they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make you carry around this dumbass the entire time and like fuck up your entire game. And I still like 4, but like I just, you can't release your game, and I guess you can because tons of people do it, but I don't know. I have nobody to play that shit with.
See, I always played 5 and 6 solo, pretty much for the same reason. I never really had anybody to play with, which also didn't bother me very much.
No. Yeah, we have the opportunity to play co-op all the time with people, Vox, and we're like fucking hermits sitting in our darkly lit fucking rooms like, I'm gonna stream solo. This is just for me. This is just for me right now. There is no teamwork. Teamwork fucking sucks. That's us.
I do better by myself.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to rely on me because I'm a fucking shitter. Nope. Fucking...
No, mine's the opposite. I don't want anybody relying on me because I don't want to have to drag them around.
So we have different
Mine's
values.
the opposite.
We have different views of ourselves. We have different views of ourselves. I'm a shitter that fucking doesn't want to let anybody down, and you're you're Chad that doesn't want to be let down. Okay, I see how this fucking dynamic works.
The Chad that just doesn't want to babysit somebody else. It's like, you know what? You go hide in that corner. I'll take care of this. Just don't move. Don't knock over anything, please. Just
by the way, Reneth said you had a nice cock. So
it's true. That picture that went around that was supposedly Chris that Kim was sending everybody, that's actually me.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. And so the big thing we were talking about with DayZ with mods, so we'll get to the mod conversation now, is Capcom went through this entire thing with like the modding community. This is where we're going to get into the back end shit where I'm really fucking heated right now. I'm like reeling about all of this stuff. So the mod community has been releasing a ton of mods. Of course, there's nude mods. Of course, that's a given. That's a fucking given.
That's got to be a record. Less than a week.
Dude, it was the same day they had the daughters nude. The same day they were new mods for the Three Sisters. Like I finished my first initial playthrough fast. And like on Kotaku they were like, oh yeah, by the way, you can see their tits now. I was like, oh, okay. Cool, dude. Cool. Like what the fuck, I mean, man?
I saw one that was in my YouTube. It showed up on YouTube, and it was Lady D in like this body fishnet with like the little triangle bikini under it, and I'm just kind of like,
yep. I saw one that had her. She had a black tape X over her nipples. I saw that one. It was like a fishnet bodysuit with black tape over the nipples.
She being straight edge. I get it.
So, but then there's also the silly mods. There's the Teletubby mod where all the enemies turn, like all the standard enemies turn into Teletubbies. There's the wild thornberries. There's what else was there?
I couldn't remember the name of the thornberries when I saw that picture, and I'm like, isn't that like the crazy Kardashians or something? Like, what the fuck are they called again?
Those goddamn crazy Kardashians at it again. At it again, I see. Yeah, the fly swatter to smack Lady D's ass. The Barney chase mod.
The Barney one is hilarious.
Ken said he got something with like a SpongeBob, like where all the pictures in the game are replaced with Squidward's paintings of SpongeBob. Yeah. Like people are, I don't know where this shit comes from, and like they're creative. I don't know, like it was like, oh yeah, the SpongeBob mod painting. That's what this game's missing. We need pictures of SpongeBob all over this bitch. Like what?
That's that whole generation coming out with their skills now.
Yeah.
There's one that turns Lady D's face into Mr. X from Remake 2.
Well, Ken sent me one where the merchant turns into the original RE4 merchant. Like he's just like fucking 10-foot tall, like original merchant.
Oh my God.
But like that's the great thing about the RE community, and it has been for a long time, is that the mods are like in fucking like they're abundant. Like some of the best shit you can do with the classic RE games is mod them and play through these storylines that people have created.
The Barry mod.
Yeah,
RE1.
Yep. And like what I can't even remember all of them, but like there's been a lot of them that have turned in. Yeah, that was huge. Like there's been a ton of them, and they've always been really big in the community. Now Capcom's kind of
RE3 because nobody gives a shit about that.
Yeah,
shit
you're right. Yeah, fuck that fucking shit. Fucking DLC bullshit. So now Capcom, I feel like, is really pushing back against the mod community because they don't want other people making money off of their IP, which I can kind of understand, but it's one of the things that has kept your series alive for all of these years. Like it's one of the major things that keep people playing Resident Evil, even though they've played through they've played the main story a million fucking times. Or in cases of speedrunners, like I've played it so much, like back of my hand, I know everything about it. Like to get any new enjoyment out of it is the mod community, and that's what could keep your game alive for years to come. Like 20 years from now, if Village has a bunch of fucking mods, people are going to look back at this and be like, oh, dude, you remember the days 20 years ago playing Village? Like, it came out, no worries, like, everything was great. Like, that's going to be the same shit that we do with the classic games. But now Capcom's kind of kicking back. Like, they're like, well, kind of don't tell us we suck and don't change our shit. And now you have people putting their, I think Ken told me yesterday that mods are going behind Patreon paywalls. So now all you've done is make the market more money flow. Like that's all you've done is make it more lucrative to have these mods because now they're fucking behind paywalls.
Yeah, that's one thing I disagree with when it comes to mods. But that could be just from, when I was growing up, if you wanted to mod a game, you just go to a forum and you download it. Like for fucking Dark Forces or whatever, or Jedi Knight or Jedi Academy,
Listen, Resident Evil Village has solved the pandemic, Missy. That was the secret. Village was the secret to making the pandemic better, apparently. I totally forgot we were even in one, So
I mean, if you ever need an argument for why modding can sustain a game for literally decades after its release, you need one word. Only one. Doom.
Yes. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
It's inarguable that Doom is the poster child for why modding can and will extend the life of your game.
Yep.
That game, it's almost 30 years old and people are still pumping out mods for it.
Yep. Like brand new content for a 30-year-old game, and they love it. Like I've played a few of the mods, and who's the guy on YouTube that does all that? Civy's one of them. G-Man lives.
Civvy so much.
And
I take anything G-Man says with a grain of salt.
I mean,
He's a little too easily bought for my taste.
I mean, I don't fuck with his reviews necessarily, but I mean, I enjoy all the mods that he reviews and shit. And there's like a new fucking one every week, and people love them. And the mod community is what keeps your fandom satiated until forever. Like, it's basically an endless supply of content that you never had to create. But basically boost.
But people are still going to pay you to get your game so they can play the mod.
Yep, exactly. People could give. You could give.
I bought Doom?
Yeah, dude, I have it on every fucking platform that's ever existed. I used to play Doom on a fucking iPod Touch. Not even before the iPod Touch, the fucking standard iPod. We used to hack standard ass like the old school fat fucking wheel iPods and put Doom on it and play it on the fucking school bus. Like that was so we played it fucking everywhere. Like it's so ingrained in who I am as a gamer, and to this day I will play Doom mods just to enjoy myself thoroughly like it's a brand new fucking game.
Bro, I think the only thing I don't own Doom on is my phone, and I'm checking right now just to make sure. Okay, I don't own it on the phone. There's a fucking surprise. I bought all of them that were on the Switch, except for Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. You know how often I play my Switch? Never.
Yeah, I own them. I own that shit there.
Yeah, I've got it on Xbox. I'm pretty sure I've got it on PlayStation. I've got it on PC.
Mm-hmm. That's what I told my old man the other day. My old man has my Xbox, and we were looking down through like the games for Windows Live shit.
Oh, that's right.
Or whatever, games for Windows, or whatever, the Game Pass. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm such a fucking... We're looking at the Game Pass, and I was like, oh, dude, you can get Doom, because he's the one that got me into Doom. My old man got me into Duke Nukem, Doom, all that shit. And he's like, I didn't even know they made that many Dooms. That was the first thing he said to me. I was like, bro, this is like 4 of them. There's a lot more, buddy. Trust me. Like, yeah. But I mean...
Doom 2, Doom 64 that's finally out now and everything.
Yep.
Doom 3.
Yep, and that community's never going to die, man. That community's never going to die. It's always going to be something that's there. And it is 1,000,000% the reason people still play the original Doom, because they've already played it 600 fucking times. And the original game, not so much anymore, but mods are 100% would keep you alive with that. 100%. And Resident Evil's going to be the same way, dude. It's going to be the same way unless you fuck with it. Like, if you start fucking with it, that's when you're going to stop. Like, you're going to start losing your staying power.
Yeah.
I haven't played Doom 64 yet.
It's good. You should play it. Like, Curie's got a good point. Half-Life mods are pretty impressive, too. Yeah, there are some out there that are just, like, complete overhauls. What is it? Total conversions. Like that X-Men game for Quake that was awful.
Well, yeah, look at fucking Portal, bro. Look at Portal. Portal came out of Half-Life. And it was one of people's most favorite. It's one of people, like, people will die on a hill saying that's their favorite game of all time. Like, you bring out entirely different. You bring out innovative shit with mods, because while game developers in studios can be super creative, where you get by is with all the side people that you wouldn't hire because they don't have the experience, but they have the creativity and they figure out how to fucking do it, and then now you want to hire them because they made something incredible with your IP.
Yeah, I mean, look at Quake. Look at what Quake did for Valve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Quake created Valve because, you know, Gabe Newell and whoever the other guy is.
we only care about Gaben. Yeah, we only care about Gaben.
We only care about Lord Gaben. You know, they got Quake. They did stuff like Team Fortress. They did stuff like, you know, I'm assuming Half-Life started as a mod. Then you got Counter-Strike, which was built off of all that stuff, and not maybe either directly or indirectly, but their modding has created, you know, multi-million-dollar new franchises.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, and then you know, nowadays you've got CS:GO, you've got TF2, which they're not well, TF2 is not what it used to be, but
it's still really populated though, man. Yeah, it's still like a lot of people, like even just a couple years ago, my buddy was like a semi-pro Team Fortress 2 player. I was like, that fucking game's still like, you can be semi-pro in fucking TF2. Like, I didn't even realize that was still around. But yeah, dude, that whole thing, companies need to stop pushing back against creativity in their communities, because the only thing it's going to do really at the end of the day is benefit you.
Yeah.
Because the only way you can do it is to own the game.
Yeah, you have to. And then, you know, someone who might not be interested in the game at all it takes is the right mod to get their attention.
Yep.
That's all it takes. Like, as much fun as I make of Sega and Sonic and all that shit, I will 100% stand behind Sega for their love for their fans and what their fans create.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Because because, you know, you have fan projects done by people for Nintendo properties, and Nintendo squashes it. Like, they send that cease and desist so fast that the fucking envelope doesn't finish drying and close. And then you've got Sega over here who's like, yo, that's pretty fucking sick, bro. Keep us updated. Like,
and that goes a long way.
It does. Like, back when PSO was a big thing back in, you know, 2001, 2002, back when it was, you know, getting its feet wet as, you know, what it was when it was coming out. There were the server shut down because the Dreamcast went under, so Sega didn't really care about supporting the PC version anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a guy named Broommop who created a private server. Okay. And it was up for 2 or 3 years, and people started asking, like, you know, what does Sega think of this? And you know what Sega's response was? It wasn't, take down those servers, you can't be doing that. It was, Shit, more power to you, dude. Cool. Keep it up.
Dude, that's awesome. See, that goes such a long way, because it gives, like you just said, it gives you appreciation for the company. Whereas like you love Sega and you're like side-eyeing Capcom now because of their shit.
Yeah. So developers, support your communities. Don't squash them.
Please.
Yeah.
So while I was super happy with the game, and while I'm super unhappy with Capcom, the other thing that I'm super fucking unhappy with is the fucking speedrun community.
Woo.
Every single time a new Resident Evil fucking game releases, it's fun for like 10 minutes before everybody gets their shitty little panties in the biggest fucking bunch that they can and just wants to fucking argue about fucking everything. For no fucking reason, man. It's not supposed to be that fucking serious. Speedrunning is a hobby, and some people do have it for a job, and I understand. But to literally ruin friendships and, like, alienate people out of communities because you can't fucking settle on whether this should... Like, stop, man. I genuinely don't understand why everybody has to get so fucking twisted about what's accepted and what's not, or like work shit out. Like, don't come in so fucking stone-headed, especially if you're going to be one of the leaders of the community. Don't come in so stone-headed that you refuse to budge on anything and refuse to see any other point than the point that benefits you as a content creator or as a speedrunner.
Yeah. And, you know, I get that well, no, I don't get it because I'm not a lazy bitch. But you know how hard it is to create a new board on SRC? Have you ever done that?
No, I've never done it.
It takes 2 fucking clicks. I created another category for Rava because the supermod was like, yeah, you know what? Here, you take over the board. Okay. And he's like, you know, I'd asked about an extra category, and he gave me mod status. He's like, here you go. You can, you know, do whatever you want. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I created the secret ending % board.
Mm-hmm.
It took me less than 5 minutes. These guys have no fucking excuse for not separating out of bounds and glitchless or whatever designation there will be.
Yep.
Except that they're lazy, they're self-centered, and they only want to be the ones with the best times.
Yep.
It's like nobody fucking cares, bro. You think anybody gives a shit that I have multiple world records in Rava? No, they don't. You think anybody cares that I have the world record in fucking headshot % wanted? They most certainly do fucking not. I could have the world record in Mario and Beyond Kotaku for 5 minutes and nobody would care 5 minutes later.
Yep.
It's not that fucking serious.
And I speedrun for the enjoyment of the community. Like, and I got so many friends through running Resident Evil, and like Ken and like all of this shit. Like where I am right now would absolutely 100% not have happened if I didn't run Resident Evil. Whenever RE2 Remake came out, it ruined my passion for the game. Like, it ruined my passion for speedrunning because that fucking community... And this is the thing about it. Speedrunning's growing, which is awesome, man. Mm-hmm. That's great. It's a hobby that I think a lot of people should pick up. I think it turns... Like, it's the only way I really enjoy gaming anymore, unless the game is super fucking enthralling. Yeah. There's so many new people coming to speedrunning, which is awesome, but in it, inevitably, you're going to get just living piles of shit that ruin every fucking aspect of it. And that sucks, but like the one thing that I feel like, and this is my opinion, and I don't even know if I'll get shit for it, but I feel like there's a sense of community with Resident Evil that is fake. I think the sense of community, like you portray it like there's this giant sense of community, but really, I'm the only one that gives, like I'm the only person that fucking matters. Like I'll pretend that like you and me, no, fuck you when it comes down to it at the end of the day. And I understand because you're trying to make a living off of a lot of this stuff. And I get that, dude. If it's your job, that's awesome. And maybe if I was a full-time streamer, I would feel differently about this. I don't come into a Resident Evil board thinking I'm going to wipe the boards at all. I don't have enough time. I don't have the devotion. I don't have the patience. I run it for fun. I run it to compete with friends, and I run it to compete with myself. I don't understand the fakeness and it's one, and the community is so devoted, and a lot of people, like, they run Resident Evil, they get a following, and then they switch off because they get tired of it, and they lose all of that following because the community is so devoted. So, like, you get into this situation where, like, you're kind of stuck. You're kind of typecast as an RE runner. You get stuck there, and I feel bad for a lot of people that feel like they can't get out of that category because it is the way that they make their living. I understand that. I 100% get that. But to be absolute fuckheads to anybody that's new in the community, anybody that's pre-existing, like, stop, man. You're just making the boards a toxic place to be, and it pisses me off. Like, RE2 Remake, I don't even know. Like, I had to ask the other day when they split out 60 and 120 because I didn't stick around long enough to fucking see it, because the fact that it was even a conversation to split out 60 and 120 FPS for the knife damage pissed me off, and I stopped. And I didn't start running it until like a year after I took my break, and that was like 2 years after the game fucking came out. And the only reason I did it then is because I was like, all right, the boards have calmed down, people aren't being as big of dicks now, and I can actually enjoy myself with it for a little bit, as much as I could possibly enjoy anything without raging the fuck out. But
yeah,
just stop being assholes, man. It's real fucking plain and simple. Like, you don't have to come at people sideways. You don't have to fucking attack other people's integrity because they think that the out of bounds should be an entirely different category than you do. And as far as speedrunning is concerned, as a fucking whole, I run a lot of games. There are, as a base, if there should be glitchless categories and glitch categories. That's just the way I see it. Even with any percent, I understand you're supposed to complete the game by any means possible when it comes to an any percent run. But to not understand where people come from when they want glitchless versus not, like, glitchless versus glitched is insane to me. But that's...
So in what sense? Like, you don't think they should be separated? Or
no, I think 100% they should be separated. I 1,000,000% think they should be separated.
There shouldn't be any argument.
No, I think they 1,000,000% should be, yes. Yeah, and that's like, and I run a lot of games that have glitches in them, and I didn't like glitch runs for a long time. I was just never about them. But like RE1, the first fucking game in the series, there's a glitch category and there's a no major glitches category. The first fucking game in the series. And the major glitches are, okay, you spin around with a knife and you get past the plan a little bit faster. Like, that's your major glitch. This is a fucking full-on, like, out-of-bounds game-breaking glitch where you skip, what is it? You skip 2 of the sisters and 3 of the mask. That's fucking pretty huge, man. That's pretty fucking big. I would consider that major.
Yeah, that's a major skip.
Desert just said that there is an out-of-bounds in RE1, which I didn't know because I never ran the glitch category for that.
There are a bunch. There are actually a handful of out-of-bounds glitches you can do, but to my knowledge, Deagle I think still mods for RE1. I haven't in over a year, but last I knew, none of them were actually useful.
Yeah, it's useful in 100% in one spot only. Okay, but that's a major glitches category, and it gets classified as such. So it's whenever your first game in your series, and that board has been out there for I don't even know when those boards originated,
since the dawn of time.
Yeah, like it's just like it's as a default. I feel like for the entire series, there are people that want to run glitch runs. There are people that don't want to run glitch runs. There are people that, and especially with this game, because there is so much love for this series and this IP, people want to stay pure to it. And I understand 100% why you would want an out of bounds category. If it's a really small game and there's like 2 people that run it and it takes you 6 months to get a fucking approval for it, I understand why they don't split boards off that. Like, I understand why the Sniper Ghost Warrior run is just considered any percent and that's it. I get that. With a game like RE, where it's going to be absolutely fucking inundated with people running it of different capacities, different hardwares, different like brackets, like all of that shit, I think it's too big to not separate that stuff out. But then at the same rate, it really makes it hard to mod, because now instead of having one category where everybody falls under, I now have to mod 6 different categories that these runs fall under. And I understand as a mod that's going to be taxing, but as the integrity of the boards, I see it, it should be split out.
Yeah, for the integrity of the boards, because when I modded for RE1 Classic, that was what was held above all. it doesn't matter what your personal feelings are. This is the integrity of the board. Your personal feelings may have some sway in one thing or another when it comes to ruling or ideas, but overall, the integrity of the board is what's important.
Yeah. Yep. And there's usually not. And a lot of people, like, for a long time, I was a glitchless runner. When I branched off of the other games, I had no choice. I had to become a glitch runner. And I appreciated how glitch runs, like, once I started doing them, I appreciated them a lot more because of how cool they were.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like, I can appreciate
there's not a lot of
solid run, but I won't do it.
There's not a lot of crossover because, like, especially with Resident Evil, you're either super devoted to the series or you're super devoted to the run, whatever gets you through fastest. There is two. It's almost like two different entities. I did not know that there was another Out of Bounds found in Village, but
That's wild.
But at that point, dude, that's a glitch run versus a glitchless run. That makes even more sense then.
When you just create another board, like, you can bet if somebody stumbled across a glitch while trying to run Rava, like, I don't care if it's a major glitch or a minor glitch, guess what? We're getting a board for that run in particular.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And as a mod,
it's not hard to do.
No, and I understand that, and I understand also on small games why people wouldn't separate them out. I understand it both ways. On big games, on big AAA titles, you have to have those different categories. You're going to have different console categories. You're going to have new gen versus old gen, because you can't have somebody running on a PS5 versus a PS4. That's just unfair from the get-go. Same with the Xbox categories. PC, you can't really break that out because, unless there are FPS binds, unless there are requirements on FPS, but if there's a requirement for FPS, if it shouldn't be pay to win, it shouldn't be flat out, like, you should have the option of either that's what fucking blew my fucking mind about RE2 Remake, just because I wasn't a big enough streamer that could fund or justify my PC to play a fucking video game. I was automatically out of that category, and that category was the primary category. And it really took me out of the game, and it stopped. Like, I think that was actually the point in time where I, like, ended up taking a break from streaming, because it basically crushed everything that I had enjoyed doing up to that point. Yeah.
So Ring's got a point. You can ban glitched runs instead of adding them separately, but no major glitches should be a main standard. Yeah, I wouldn't ban any glitched runs personally, just for the fact that if you're banning that type of run, you're automatically cutting off an entire source of potential runners and potential interest in your game, which winds up hurting everybody in the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd have to be extremely, like, exceedingly special circumstances for me to look like for Rava. If there was some kind of glitch that, for whatever reason, did something that, it would have to be an extremely special case for me to look at a glitched run and go, no.
Yeah.
Like, it would have to be exceedingly special circumstances for me to actually do that in that case.
It's just,
otherwise, glitch away.
It's mind blowing to me that it's such a fucking point in contention, because what it comes down to is selfishness. Not even on behalf of the mods, because the mods definitely have they have a big job, especially with the new RE game, because we saw it with RE2 Remake. They were inundated, and when the route changes constantly, and, like, there's so much shit that, like for the first fucking, like, I think the Resident Evil 2 Remake Leon A route changed, like, within the past year. But then the past few months, I think they pick a shotgun up in a different place, because I was going to start de-rusting it, and I was like, I don't know the actual new route, because I had heard that there's a new one. That's a tough mod job. That's a fucking tough mod job. And I understand, like, the mods definitely have more power, but I think your personal shit gets in the way. I think what ends up happening is that people take shit too personally. They see it as either not benefiting them or benefiting them, or that's the way, like, it's not about community. It's about, like, me. Yeah, it's me. Like, this, and that pisses me off. It's it's very selfish, and I think that for as much as that community portrays community, you're not showing community. Like, every single time this shit happens, this is what happens. Like, it's not really a community, man.
And that leads into it reminds me of a story from RE Outbreak. I used to mod for that too, and one of the people involved in the whole village thing, actually almost crippled the Outbreak boards because he's so much of a fucking idiot. Well, I'm not gonna name names.
I figured as much.
I'll give him the respect of anonymity, but he's a fucking idiot. And what he did was he gave someone supermod powers that had no business having them. Like, this was one of those people that literally only wanted to get on the board so he could. Deagle just DM'd me. No. You know who it is. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of someone different then. Okay, so either way, both people are fucking idiots. Both mods I'm thinking of. I don't like either of them. But either way, this guy gave this dude mod powers, and this guy the runner just literally wanted to control the boards for himself and his friends.
Yeah, and that's bullshit, dude.
Yeah, he only listened to the one guy instead of actually coming to what was the current mod team, which was myself, Dr. Maxtermind, and I think Deagle was one at that point, and a few other, one or two other people. So instead of coming to us and talking about it, he just gave the guy fucking supermod.
That's crazy.
Powers, and it's like we had to go up the ranks, which it eventually wound up with Pac, because this is when he still owned SRC. Basically having a one-on-one with the guy, and the guy just ranting and foaming at the mouth like a fucking psychopath.
Holy shit.
And Pac ending it with, "Don't you ever talk to me again."
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Pac was like, "Stop fucking around. You're a complete idiot. Don't ever message me with shit this beneath me again."
And the clout chasing is just so fucking stupid to me, man. Like, and it's really great that, like, through all of these events that are happening and shit, people are really starting to get into it. Like, the only reason I got into speedrunning is because of Games Done Quick. Bach was Soup. His Turok run is actually what got me interested into speedrunning. So he was the start for all of it. And, like, the RE community, like, whenever I first came into the community, I made a ton of friends. I really liked all those people, like Pyramid, like, I was close with all of them, and they've done some incredible fucking things, man. Pyramid just pulled world record again in RE3 Classic, like.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Seconds.
Yeah.
Fucking
monster, dude, he's fucking insane. And the crazy thing about me and Pyramid is that we started running at the same time. Like, we used to race. Yeah. Like, we raced, and it was competitive. It would never be competitive now, I can fucking assure you that. But, like, all of that community was awesome, and then, like, I was super stoked about the remake, and then just, like, the fucking community got inundated with bullshit, and, like, people's true colors started coming out, and, like, I was just like, what the fuck happened, man? And the only reason it wasn't like that for so long is because the old RE games are so optimized, and everybody's figured everything out about them, and maybe it was like that early on. I don't know, but maybe I came in late and shit's changed, and I don't know, but, like, I knew that whenever Village came out, no matter how much I liked the game, and I knew I was going to want to run it, I'm going to wait on running it, because I'm not going to be one of those assholes that's, like, posting YouTube videos like, world record in Resident Evil Village, new game plot. Like, no, dude, stop. Get fucking approval. And that's another thing, like, the people that post their YouTube videos with no validation whatsoever, it's just like, hey guys, this is world record. No, it's not, asshole. You're not even on the board. Like, you're not going the proper way. Like, there's the integrity to speed running, and it's not even really, like, I don't take it that seriously, but it is something that, like, it's an accomplishment. It's a feat, and I feel like just claiming that you're the best for whatever reason is selfish. I think you should go through the proper channels, but you also shouldn't really take it that seriously, man. Like, I'm never going to be top of any of the Resident Evil leaderboards. I don't rock into a Resident Evil leaderboard like, yep, dude, I'm going for world record. It never is going to happen. I'm going to be like middle of the pack, mediocre asshole, like I am all the time. And the only way I got world records was just playing games I loved that were dead. But I didn't play them for the clout. I played them because I loved them. Like, I love Sniper Ghost Warrior. When we played, I had played Wanted one time when I was younger. And, like, you playing it got me into it. And, like, the amount of fun I had with that game made me fall in love with it. I ran it because I loved the jank. I loved the like everything about that game, even though it was completely fucked. I loved it, and I didn't just do it so that I could have a gold trophy next to my name. Like I didn't like. I think that was my first world record, and while I was super happy to have my first world record because I'd been speedrunning for 2 years and never saw a gold trophy, at the end of the day, I love that game, and I wouldn't run it otherwise.
Yep. Yeah. Like you know, in my case, I'm really particular about what I'll run. Like people have asked me, "Oh, well, would you ever run X game or Y game?" And I'm just like, "No, not really."
And like,
you know, anytime I get a new game, like Captain America Super Soldier, one of my runs. It's not one that I've done a lot of.
Yeah.
Like I don't even have a run on SRC for it, just because I run it so infrequently that I'm not comfortable enough uploading something that's 2 hours long to make chicken nuggets watch it. But like, I run that game because I love it.
Yeah.
And I don't care if I'm number one. I mean, I'm going to be number two either way because nobody else fucking runs it. But I don't care. I love it. I'm there for it.
And like, I love speedrunning as a whole. And there are games that I've run that are just like what started Wanted. And despite the fact that I ended up loving it, was just me kind of fucking with you and like saying like, hey buddy, I'll challenge you to this, because I like the friend competition. I like competing with my friends. I like competing with myself, and I love doing speedrunning as a whole because it's the way that gaming is enjoyable to me. And every game I play, I'm like, okay dude, I'm having a good time with this. I wonder how long the speedrun is for this, because I could see myself running this, and I'm such a like spastic fuck. It's the only way that I can pay attention anymore. Like the constant grind, like having to do this, having to be focused the entire time, because if I fuck up and stray left or something like that, like it ruins my run. That keeps me more in sync, in tune. But self-worth, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? It's like, just chill the fuck out. Enjoy yourself. Stop getting your panties in a bunch about everything anybody ever says. Stop sending your chat to other people's chats to talk shit. Like we talk shit. We talk shit all the time on each other. We're friends. There's a difference. There's a difference in us talking shit and you talking shit on somebody else because you think they're a worse runner than you, so you want to assert your fucking dominance. Like, get out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Assert my dominance over somebody else as a runner. I'll just get a better time than them.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then I guess I wasn't as dominant as I thought.
Yeah, no, okay, dude, you're the better man. You beat me.
Yep. Like, that's one of the things that I loved so much about the Wanted run, and why I will forever have a special place in my heart for it, is that, you know, it started as a joke, but then like we got fucking serious about it. Not just racing each other, but, you know, digging into the game and finding all the strats and all the little tricks and shit. And it's just like, I've never had that experience before with a run, let alone with another person.
Yep.
And it's just like, that will forever be one of my favorite runs because of that. Because that cohesion, and, you know, we are the community.
And dude, it brought us, like, we're really good friends, and I think that's one of the reasons that like we became really good friends was that game. Like that was the thing that bonded us, just because like I think whenever I first met you, I think Fano was like, oh yeah, dude, you should run Rava and take Vox's world record. And it was like one of the few times I'd ever talked. I was like, oh yeah, dude, I'll fuck around with it. And then Rava's not for me. And then I came in and challenged you to want it. And that was like, we had been associated at that point, but that's what really made us friends. 100%. Yeah, the competition on Wanted was just, it was great. It was everybody, more people love Wanted now than they ever did because we just fucking played it on stream like a couple times. Like, it's such a fun, quirky game if you accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
And like Ring said,
I will not forget. Oh, go ahead.
Ring said, like, even games you try out that you feel like you might want to run many times fall through. One perfect example of that is the Lucius run. Mm-hmm. I fucking love that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. The run is just not for me. I don't like the glitches. They're too inconsistent. It's not a run that I feel like I have fun doing. I feel like it's more frustrating than anything else. So while I fucking love that game, I can't do the run. I can't. It's just not for me.
That's understandable. Like, you don't have to have a great reason to not run a game.
Yeah.
You know, there are games, like, people have asked me if I'm ever going to run the Splinter Cell games, and I'm like, no.
And it could
because I think that's something that, unless you're a speedrunner, you don't, like, you might understand, but not fully. because when you start speedrunning a game, it fundamentally changes your perspective of a game.
Yep.
Like, there's no two ways about it. And I learned that the hard way with RE1.
Yep.
Where it's one of my favorite games growing up. And I would, I'd play it occasionally. And then I started speedrunning it. And the more and more that I ran it, the less and less and less I liked it.
Yep.
And now, I still love it. I don't treat it the same as I used to because I don't run it competitively anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care one way or the other if my time's good or bad. But like when it comes to stuff like Splinter Cell, I love Splinter Cell. I love Splinter Cell in a way that will protect it from ever being run.
Yeah. And like things with speedrunning is like once you start speedrunning, like I can never play RE1 and RE2 casual again. I can never do it.
Yeah.
I would never be able to stumble through that game. Yep.
Yeah. It's like Rava. I mean, granted, playing it casually is just a much slower way of speedrunning it, but
there's no second.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could do it.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that blew my mind a little bit. So there's no second out of bounds. Someone just made a fucking fake video about it. Jesus Christ. Why, man? Like, I don't understand. Like, what the fuck? Why?
Just to fuck with people.
And that's what, like, streaming for me, I struggle with this a lot, and a lot of people I talk to, a lot of people know, a lot of my Twitter followers know whenever I'm a little bit too fucked up and I get a little bit too transparent, that streaming is, it's a point of, like, every day I go into it, while I love doing it and I love the community that I built, I tie a lot of my self-worth into it, and I always have, and it's been one of those things that I've always wanted to try and get over. I've gotten better about it. I think with the community that's been growing and the people that come through are so fucking amazing and I love them so much. Streaming has gotten way easier for me because there was a lot of times where like I would go live and I'd just be like, dude, I can't, like, no, you're not funny. Nobody actually enjoys watching you. Nobody, like, it's, I don't know what it is. It's almost like, it's a driving force to like be like, dude, you shouldn't be doing this anymore. And I struggle with that a lot. And it's like a small streamer complex thing where like one day you'll be super good or somebody will rage you or something like that. And like you see the numbers drop and you're like, okay, dude, nobody finds you entertaining. Nobody's actually enjoying watching your shit. Like there's a few people that are sticking around and like you, like it's a very hard thing to do as a small streamer. And I'm getting better with it. I think, honestly, dude, what brought me back full force was the Lucius streams. I never had so much fun playing a game as I ever had playing Lucius. And from that point forward, that was like when I started streaming more, started like doing more to branch out the channel, started subtitling clips and started putting like them on TikTok and like started posting all this shit. Like that's a big reason why I did it, because that game brought me back into the loop, back into the fold. And it's hard, but I'm getting better at it. Yeah, I noticed there's like a distinct difference of Clouded pre-Lucius, where it was, all the speed runs and we were just kind of floating through, this kind of weird space thing of what am I gonna do? And then Lucius happened. And then it was just like a cinder block, like that's it right there. Just my God, those Lucius streams were some of the craziest shit, like the most fun I've ever had on Twitch. Dude, it was insane. Ring, I do appreciate that. But it's one of those things where like, dude, it's one of those things where like, and I'm super humble about everything. I've called myself mediocre from the start, and there's people that come in all the time and like, dude, you're really good, you run, you do all this shit. But there's just that thing in the back of your mind, like I don't think everybody deals with it. I think some people do. I think a lot of people do. When you're a content creator, you are your own worst critic. That is the way that it goes. But there are 1,000,000% like people, like if I stop streaming tomorrow, there's so many people I would miss from my community. And Lucius, like a lot of people, like Lucius was easy content. Like it was because it was so fucking outlandish. And I've definitely, like, I think I've gotten more. It's obvious on like watching my old clips versus my new clips. I am so much more animated now than I ever was. And like just my personality, like I'm kind of settling into, like I'm getting more comfortable with who I am as a person, because like it's just, I mean, I'm screaming. Like I thought I was going to lose my fucking voice the other night when we were playing Boshy on stream, I texted Vox after. I said, I think I caused permanent damage. Like, I gotta my head is fucking pounding. My throat is raspy. I can barely talk. Like, I think I'm fucked. I think we're done here, bro. But like, it's just, it's the kind of content I like doing, is people have fun with my rage, and it's great. And it's something I enjoy doing. If I don't rage at a game, I'm pretty bored. I'm like, okay, something has to happen.
Yeah, he texted me that, and I'm like, you're gonna wake up sounding like me.
That's the reality of the situation. I'm actually not getting more animated. I'm just jealous of Vox's voice, so I just yell a whole bunch, like hoping I'll sound gravelly. I'm hoping I'll be coming back like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, get the fuck. I'm just waiting for that day.
Clouded's gonna come in someday, and he's gonna sound like he just ate a whole driveway of gravel.
Be getting casted for all the Wild West movies, baby. I'll be in every single one of those motherfuckers. I'll be horsebacking like a bitch right now.
We're gonna be in Brokeback Mountain directed video. Be sure to pick it up at your local Walmart for $2.99.
Broke Butthole Mountain. Get it right, okay?
Oh, sorry. My mistake.
Oh man, so yeah, that's been my listening to 94.7 Arclay Radio. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good. I like that one. That was good.
So
someday
yeah, dude,
I'm gonna steal Troy Baker's spot as Joel in Last of Us.
I'm waiting for the day. I need you to start doing promos for the channel. By the way, I have the perfect voice for promos, and I've never utilized it. So.
You wouldn't be the first one.
Not as in I have the perfect voice. I mean, I have access to the perfect voice, which is Vox.
I did one for Ian a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Actually, when I got this microphone. Yeah, because he calls his community Linda's from Double Dragon.
Okay.
So
okay.
It was Billy's and Linda's. Welcome to the punk rock experience. And then there was an explosion.
Yeah, I'm still at the point where I want my intro to just be a bunch of people talking shit on me. That's what I want my intro to be. I just want everybody just degrading the fuck out of me, like this mediocre piece of shit. Like I think that fits the channel so well. I don't know why.
You know, the reason I use a GIF on stream is because I don't want people to think that he's not the ugly one.
Listen, you can't have the voice and the looks, asshole. I need something. Throw me a fucking bone. Something.
Hey, look, I've got a voice for radio and a face to match, all right?
K-Vol's running to the computer right now to launch OBS to fucking record a hate stream. Just the CloudedRage hate stream. K-Vol, I love you. I love your toxicity. It's one of my favorite things ever. Listen, I love anybody that comes in here and chats. It's like there's so many different types of people that come into my stream, and they're all different. It's just I love like it's one of my favorite communities ever. And Vox's community is like has been great since we've been bringing them across and everything. It's phenomenal, man. I love all you guys. It's been a great time with all of this. So, but yeah, man. Any final words before we get out of here?
Without Remorse was okay. DayZ is fucking heroin. I'm gonna see if I can get you addicted. R8 looks fucking phenomenal. Speedrunning is run by chooches. Fuck the man.
Rage against the machine, bitches!
I would punch him in the mouth.
Well, I agree.
Maybe.
We're gonna play some DayZ, trust me. And then you gotta get Village. I gotta see your experience with Village. You gotta play through, see if you enjoy.
I do. I need to pick up Village, and I have to pick up Tarkov at some point if my computer can handle it. Last I knew Tarkov was like a beast to try to get to run.
It's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better. That would be great to play duo as well. All right, man. Well, I think I think you good. That seems like a good ending to me.
Sounds good to me. I think I'm gonna go inject more DayZ into my veins.
Sounds like a plan, brother. I don't blame you.
What are you gonna do?
So we're actually gonna play more Village. I'm gonna keep streaming like we've been doing. I'm gonna switch over to my scenes here, but we're gonna play more Village. We're gonna try and get through Village of Shadows difficulty with my current playthrough. We made it up to. We're actually to the Heisenberg section. So if you guys don't want any spoilers, I have beat the game. We are on a new game plus thing, so yeah, I recommend not sticking around. But yeah, brother, it's gonna be more Village for you bitch asses.
Beautiful. I'll be watching. I'll have you on the second monitor.
Perfect.
So until next time, you guys take care, have fun, and always listen to the voices in your head.